Hi, I'm Wild Bill. I'm going to talk today about two extremely effective cross-country vehicles that were used for war. The one was the Italian Autoblinda AB-41, and also its 42 variant. The Autoblinda 41, 42, and the United States American Willys Jeep. That's right. Those two vehicles are superior to most other vehicles. I could also include the Italian AS-42, Auto Sahara. But the reason they were so successful, in spite of, in some cases, being rather underpowered, was because the edge of their front tire was right up with the forward edge of the vehicle. So there was nothing that the front of the vehicle would encounter that the tires didn't encounter. So all three of those vehicles, really, the AB-41, 42, and the AS-42, were based on the same chassis, so they have the same reason to have been sprouted. But the reason they were so effective was because their front tire was right up at the front of the vehicle. This was well known that this improved cross-country performance, especially rough country performance. This had been proved during World War I when the early French tanks, the Chars, Saint-Chamond, and the Schneider, were were trapped as they moved forward because their noses jutted out so far ahead of their tracks. So they would bury themselves before in places that the tracks couldn't get them out of. So the Willys Jeep and the Autoblinda AB-41, 42, might be 40, 41, but I think the 41, 42 are the ones I'm interested in, were superior to all the other vehicles of the period for that specific reason, because their doggone front tire, the front axle, was as close to the front of the vehicle as you could possibly get, and that kept the nose from burying itself in obstacles, mud, trenches, whatever. Enter the future. We've learned all those lessons. In 1917, 1918, we learned all those lessons, so that World War II, we didn't have those problems. Our tracks were right up at the front of the tank. Our wheels were right up at the front of the vehicles, at least those designed for cross-country performance. But let's come up to today, where we have these beautiful Strikers and the Moag Piranha and all other sorts of 6- and 8-wheel armored car-looking fighting vehicles. And guess what every single one has? A nose that juts out in front of the front tires, the front axle. So again, the ability to surmount obstacles is equivalent to how close your forward axle is to the front of the vehicle, so that the tire surface touches the obstacle when the nose of the vehicle does, instead of long after. And every armored vehicle on wheels that I see today is making that same mistake that the French Saint-Chamond and the Schneider made in World War I. It's as though no one reads history, and because of it, we're doomed to repeat its mistakes. This is Wild Bill, a military affairs analyst for Redbeard Pirate Radio, just looking at something that finally caught up with me, and I thought, why in the world did they do that? They couldn't think of a single good reason, except people didn't look at past designs and recognize the problems that were solved. Engineers, you should be reading your backstory.